So the Decon Chamber. First of all, perfect title. I know. I know, Dom. I think you told the story on one of your recent shows of where you got the title, but maybe just for our audience, just quickly, kind of tell it again and why it
Well,
just works so
we
well.
were sort of, sadly we couldn't take the shuttle pod show with us, and we might have done had, that all sort of panned out differently, but it didn't.
Sure.
So we were tasked with, thinking, well, what are we going to call ourselves this time around? And we were up in San Francisco just literally, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I was sitting at the table next to Con, and my girlfriend Sarah was there helping me, entertain the fans. And she's as smart as a whip, and she said something to the effect, "Well, so what was, think of what was particularly peculiar, specific to your show?"
Sure.
So I was sitting there mulling it over, and I was like, I know, I'd forgotten those. Yeah, the Decon chamber scenes were. And she went, I didn't get it, what I said.
But just take credit for the idea.
You mean the Decon chamber? And I was like, oh my God.
Like that. It just came
I was
to you
sitting
naturally.
next to him. I've still got the post-it. Where is it? Hang on. There it is. I was sitting next to him. I wrote this out. And I went, Con, this is what it's going to be called. And he looked at me and he went, what did he go?
I go, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It is
and there
pretty
it
good.
is.
Yeah. Who doesn't love those decontamination chamber scenes
Yes.
from Enterprise?
God, I hated them.
I did.
Any particular reason why? The costumes or what?
Oh, no, not the costumes. Specifically, I can only really speak to the initial original Decon chamber scene with Trip and T'Pol. You have to remember when you're shooting something that when you're watching it, it looks sort of seamless and like you did it one time.
Yeah.
But we had this gel that had gotten purchased, I really think, from a sex shop.
It was KY gel.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
But it was. That was a different episode.
It makes a better story if it is.
That's what I brought.
But it was sort of like it was sort of like an intimate gel, but it had sparkles in it, so that they could capture it on camera.
That's right.
Now, remember, after every take, you got to wipe that stuff off. Yeah. And they used a dry towel on the two of us to wipe all of that gel off.
And it was the props guys, and they were rough.
Oh yeah, they were like.
Just got to move on to the next thing.
And then, so by the time we were done, Jolene and I together were red as lobsters because we were just raw from having them take all of that gel off.
Sure.
Oh, it's rough, isn't it, Ben? It's rough. They don't know, Con. They don't know.
It's the sacrifices you make to do the show, right?
Really.
So the one thing I was struck by with your new show is that it is produced by 455.
Oh.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about what that affords you to do with the show compared to what you maybe were doing with the Shuttle Pod show, which was also quite well produced. But what does 455 do for you folks now?
Well, I think that there's a certain element of bona fides in 455, having done all of their documentaries and being in the arena of Star Trek for as long as they've been there. Yeah. And it gives us more access, more name recognition, I guess. It helps in that way. And they've also got an infrastructure of producers who we just fell in with and have really enjoyed working with.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
God knows we got Bill Shatner in the chair, and that was through Dave Sapone's, personal connection to him, and
okay,
and a little bit of finagling from me and our backer, and
I thought he just wandered in off the street. I thought he just came in and sat down and just started talking.
Hey, he didn't dress for the episode, I'll grant you.
I think we can give him a pass. We could all hope to be as
look, it was lovely. What an honor to sit down with that man.
for sure.
I had to really hold back and not say I was 8 when I watched you at home in Leicester.
Oh God, he probably gets that all the time.
But I was, and I mean, it really is a pinch yourself kind of thing, isn't it? We've sat with George and Walter, and I regret that we didn't get to sit with Michelle, but there we are. We've done pretty well.
Yeah,
I do want to give a real proper, and without this man, we wouldn't be able to do this. And that's Dave Tabb.
Dave, our mate Dave,
executive producer. He has been unending in his support and in his help and in his commitment to what we're doing. And he believes in us. He's a friend of ours. And I just want to say that, Dave Tabb, thank you, big thank you.
No kidding.
So what purpose do you hope the Decon chamber fulfills? General question, but I'm curious what you'll say, both of you.
I think that one of the things that we want to accomplish, and it was always a goal of ours, even in the original iteration of our podcast, to not just talk about or talk to Star Trek actors, not to just, which we've yet to do even, which is to just talk about episodes and that, but to really use an umbrella over people who've been inspired by Trek for what they do in there as an engineer, as an astronaut, and Dom was just on a cruise to watch the
eclipse, right?
Solar.
And and there are so many people that I think are we need to hear their voices about what their experience was being, how they've gotten there, what their inspiration, how Star Trek inspired them, and not only scientists, but other actors and anybody. This really, it comes down to, I think, if there was a seed planted in your life about Star Trek, we want to talk to you.
Yeah. What a great mission. And you're right. The fans are legion. Those who have, even have been inspired in any way, they're everywhere, I'm sure. And they all have interesting stories. And
it's the ethos. And we've got Sonequa Martin Green coming in on Thursday morning, and I was just finishing up the last episode of Discovery last night, which I know I'd not seen this show at all until I knew we were having a couple of the actors on this season. Okay. And that final scene she has with the progenitist it looks like it's the roof garden of Soho House Intergalactic.
Yeah. A little fancier, perhaps.
But it's actually a beautiful scene, and a lot of the ethos that we associate with what Star Trek is in that scene, and the words that they both get to say to each other, and the inclusiveness and diversity and the acceptance. And I have to say, it fair brought a lump to my throat. And
absolutely. And honestly, I'm right there with you. I wrote the review for Trek News for all the Discovery episodes, but also the series finale. And you're right, that last episode, it like perfectly embodies what Star Trek is about.
Yeah.
And
they were fortunate, unlike us.
Yeah.
I was like, when's Malcolm Reed going to show up in the holodeck and go,
Not this time. Yeah. But Sonequa, she's
didn't
also
get scuppered like we did.
Well, these things happen. Sonequa is, I think one
brilliant.
of them, she's amazing. She's like
brilliant.
Right up there with like the best leading people in a Star Trek show.
She's going to be a big star. I mean, she really is. Yeah. She already is. This girl's going to do stuff without a doubt.
Yeah. So that's great. I look forward to seeing that episode for sure.
Yeah.
So your interviews, both for Decon Chamber and previously of the Shuttlepod show, they're known for being really in depth with the interviewee. And how do you folks, as the interviewers, prepare for that kind of talk? And Dom, I'll note you specifically because you seem to like really delve in and do your research beforehand. And sometimes the guests are surprised by how much you dig up about them.
You didn't just call me Donald, did you? I think you did.
No, Dom. Dom. I definitely said Dom.
Well, first of all, I get their names right.
Useful.
I'm kidding. I do a lot of reading. We both do, and it's just been my way. I don't. I was like this as an actor. I hated showing up on set. I'm an actor that shows up on set as far as I can be word perfect for day one of whatever I'm doing. Some actors don't like to work that way. They prefer the discovery
Sure.
as they're rehearsing. I don't like that. I like to. Maybe it's an English old-fashioned way. I know Tony Hopkins is the same way. Not that I would, put myself in the same category, but he shows up. If he's doing the Scottish play or King Lear, he knows he's word perfect on day one of rehearsals. I think that you can dance, and then that lets us, where the conversation goes. You can go with it, and you also know, okay, well, we're going to leave that bit out, but that's a shame. But I also know about this stuff, and we're always thinking, what's interesting now that they're saying this, and the more you know about someone's background and the stuff they've done, and then I go several layers deep into.
You sure do.
Who was the playwright on that? Who was the original cast of that? And it just makes it more fun for you too. Yeah,
we do the research, and then there's something that we've all done, and I think every actor who's been to a convention or 100, you learn sort of when you're on stage with the Q&As of what's the funny story, what keeps the audience engaged, that there's a certain shallowness to that, because on stage we're in control of that.
Sure.
And we I think to our credit, both Dom and I look at our guest as a life, and how they've gotten to the chair they're sitting in front of us.
Yeah, and I can't wait to sit down with Sonequa, and I know Connor's already done this on the ship. She grew up in a small town in Alabama, mate. Russellville numbers 10,500 people.
Yeah.
Where does this girl get the notion that she could do this? I'm excited to ask her, how that came about, and
it's going to be a fascinating conversation for sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys aiming to get more of the newer Trek folks on the show?
Yeah.
We've we in our previous iteration we had, what was it, 50, 60 shows, and we had a lot of people, and not to say that we wouldn't bring them back. We're going to have Michael Dorn back. We're going to have a lot of people back.
I think we should.
Yeah, but nonetheless, there's a whole strange new world of actors that we can talk to, and I think the world is our oyster in this, and I'm awfully proud of what we did before, and I'm awfully proud of what we're doing now. Really trying to gather all of the community of people who have worked on or been inspired by this wonderful franchise that we've been so blessed to be a part of.
Yeah. We've got, as Colin mentioned, I was on this ship to see the total solar eclipse that was run by Sky and Telescope.
Did you have totality? Did you have totality?
Oh my God, did we have totality? 4.5 minutes of mind-blistering wow.
We had it in Maine too.
You did? Did you get it there?
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Something else, tell you. Jeez.
Initially, where the boat was going to be, the ship just off the coast of, I want to say, Mazatlan, it was going to be cloudy. And this captain, God bless him, this Dutch captain took this ship 100 miles off course so that we would get clear skies. And we had the 360 sunset, and I'd never seen anything. I met some people as I was getting on that ship who I got chatting with, and I was like, so have you done something like this before? And they went, oh, yeah. And there were a couple sitting next to me. I said, how many total solar eclipses have you seen? They went, 13.
13 never gets old. I mean, you'll never want to stop doing it.
I mean, with some proper eclipses here, but it was phenomenal. Anyway, long story short, 2 astronauts were on board giving lectures. Sky and Telescope magazine organized it, and then my buddy Charlie Dayton and his husband Erin Melendez, they also piggybacked this other group called Cruise Trek, who I've done a lot of cruises with. It was a really great trip. But yeah, we got Nestor Espinosa, who has had the most time with the James Webb Telescope to date.
Sweet.
He's coming on. A lovely lady called Brianna Binder, who is an astrophysicist at Caltech. 2 or 3 others. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah, that's great.
We're really, we want to get the proper scientists out there too. And
fascinating seeing science fiction meet real world science in that way.
Yes, indeed.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Any besides Sonequa coming up, any other guests you want to tease? If not,
but sure. We got my British bud Ed Spiliers is flying in next on Monday, picking him up from LAX on Monday. He's going to be on the show on Tuesday.
Great.
Who else did we've got?
We're in the works to have Doug Jones. He's obviously a man.
Yeah.
David Agella, I'm seeing on Saturday morning. Sadly, Connor's going up for his mum and dad's 60th wedding anniversary.
Very cool.
This weekend, so he can't be in the studio for that one. But
grabbing all the Discovery folks. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was half a game plan. That this being their final year, let's let's get them in.
They deserve a send off. They deserve for us to learn about how they do what they do.
I'd never seen the show, mate, until literally 5 weeks ago, and I've pretty much seen it all now.
Yeah.
I mean, it jumps around. I mean, I got to say, you have to keep your wits about you in the first 3 years. You're like, okay, where are we now?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But my God, I mean, they're all as actors terrific. I love the diversity of the characterizations. And I got to say, the production value.
I was about to say it. Yeah, it is movie quality. I mean, every time.
If we thought our show was groundbreaking, this is
out of sight.
I mean, it really is.
It's a movie, every episode, which is
incredible,
crazy.
And
but that's why they only do 10 for a season.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So. All right, cool. So Decon Chamber off to a great start. Happy you folks are doing that again. It was really cool to watch. You start that back up. So let's tackle just a few questions about Enterprise, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So for each of you, what was the most challenging aspect of playing your respective characters?
Well, the British accent.
Naturally.
Originally, I'm from.
Yeah, but you're an actor. You can do any accent you want. Make it work.
What you, Con? You answer first.
I would say the most challenging aspect.
Getting up at 5.
That was a thing.
Long days.
But really, just to find oneself comfortable is the wrong word. But active in this new environment that I'd never experienced before. And I didn't really know
camera.
What? Not the camera.
Well, I thought you were going to say that because I mean,
no. I don't mean the camera so much as meaning, being on Star Trek itself.
Right.
I'd not done anything like that before, and to have the responsibility of playing the part that I did.
Yeah.
Initially in the first year, I mean, I got more comfortable with it, obviously, as time went by. But initially, it was, the massive responsibility that I had as the new engineer.
You were and also you were frankly the romantic lead. You were the it boy.
And not only that, but you were also like one of the 3. In the same way there was Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Exactly.
You had like Archer.
Without a doubt.
There was a triumvirate that, by the way, I'll tell you a funny story that, when I got the job, this echoes what I was saying earlier, is that when I got the job, I thought, oh, you're Scotty. Because we never had a script, by the way, for a very long time.
Right.
And I thought, oh man,
I'm going to
have 5 days off, learn how to surf and and be on a show. And then I read the pilot and I thought to myself, boy, you better put your hat on because you're in this a lot.
Yeah, Malcolm Scotty.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So
you had. I mean, God knows, you, Jolene, and Scott that was a workload. To rival. And we did 26 a year, babe. For the first 2 years, that was no mean feat. And
I wonder if you, when you talk to Sonequa, be like, yeah, we used to do 26.
I'm going to say that because her workload is clearly, she's in every scene, man.
Every scene, yeah, for sure,
and not with nothing to say either.
Oh, for sure. Plus, their episodes are often a little longer too.
She's the professionalism of that alone, I am in awe of.
Yeah, for sure.
She anchored that show, proper.
Yeah,
and apparently, much like Scott, number one on the call sheet, she did it with grace and dignity and beauty, and made that set a beautiful place to be. Which
certainly by all accounts, God bless you. Sure.
That takes energy too, and takes a big person.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so did either of you contribute any personal touches or backstory of your own to your characters as you started working on Enterprise?
We had to make them up. No, I'm serious. We've asked several actors about like what their character description was. Yeah. Mine was basically good old Southern boy,
catfish,
good with engine.
Yeah. And
then I had likes catfish,
likes catfish and pecan pie. But I had to make up a history that actually was wrong, because I had determined that I was some wonderkind kind of like NASCAR engine guy from Oklahoma. Right. And then halfway through season 1, I think, or whenever it was, turns out, no, I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
And I said to the producers, I was like, you guys, I'm not doing Florida. And I remember Brandon saying, they're never going to know. And I was like, people in Florida might.
They might. You never know.
Never in a couple. I love it. Didn't we do one of those, lovely
Make-A-Wish Foundation? There was a family
foundation days. Yeah.
There was a Make-A-Wish Foundation family that came in. I don't remember what year it was, but they were from the town Trip was meant to be from, and they gave me a very high compliment that you do our accent perfectly. And I was like,
where was it? It's some tiny little place, wasn't it? Was it Clearwater, Florida, or something, or what was it?
Clearwater, Tarpon Springs. He's from Tarpon Springs.
Tarpon Springs, that's right.
Okay, right. Yeah,
hilarious. I put a lot of young Dominic who was going to join the army in Malcolm. That's I came from an army background. My grandfather was a brigadier, OBE. 2 world wars. Yeah. My mother was a full-on army brat, and there was a moment in time where I was gonna go to Sandhurst, maybe.
Yeah,
not for the tanks. Not for the tanks.
Yeah, can you imagine? I spent 6-7 weeks out in Osnabrück with the Scots Dragoon Guards one summer at 17, and when I came back to Leicester, told my mum, I went, shooting the guns and driving the tanks was fun, but it's not for me, honey. It's not for me.
So looking back on the show now, do you feel you did a good job portraying that army personality?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think I got the good measure of Malcolm. And then one of the other things that as an actor, I was brave enough and I don't know, fortunate enough, rather than playing that 3-line breakdown that Connor was talking about that we get, mine was he was a stiff upper lipped Brit, buttoned down, shy around women. And I always joked facetiously, oh, fuck, I've got to whack that. There was a moment early on, it might have been in the second half of the pilot, I was like, crikey, if I'm going to do this for 7 years, this is going to get very dull very quickly, and I'm going to let Dominic, I'm going to let some of my sense of humor, my inner, whatever you want to call it, being come through Malcolm. And God bless, I think that worked out. And I think we had Andre Beaumanis on the other day, who confirmed what we've always kind of known: is writers are they're watching the episodes every week to see what can we write, who can we write for, what can we write about.
Sure.
And if you don't give them something interesting to look at,
they
might get passed by.
Yes, they write best when they can hear your voice.
Yeah,
sure.
And we were both told that really early on, that they could hear our voices in what they were writing. And that, one is a high compliment, but also it's effective as a tool for a writer to be able to, manifest a scene and manufacture a scene if you know the voice of the character.
Yeah. And looking for relationships, which is what they saw between Connor and I.
Yeah.
Who, we gelled as friends quickly on set, offset. And then the scenes we had as actors together, we just had a very easy,
rapport,
rapport with each other. And they saw that early on. I know the scene that they saw, and there was this, they could see the dichotomous nature between, and as who we are as people. I mean, we are.
Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I sort of, we're in a cramped space, and I get a little tetchy with him, and I saw it the other day. I was watching it. It might be in The Communicator, because it might have been one of Andre's episodes, and it was in season 1, and they saw this sort of slightly touchy, fractious relationship that was friendly, and that's how Shuttlepod 1 came about.
Oh yeah,
they went away and wrote that right away.
I was going to say they must have taken inspiration from observing you two to craft that episode. So that's interesting. Yeah,
and that sealed our fate as characters on the show after we shot Shuttlepod 1.
Yeah. Sure.
And then watching Discovery last night, they got to do that final goodbye scene on their bridge.
That's true. Which, and it wasn't a holodeck. It was just the.
It wasn't a holodeck,
bridge.
no. Yeah. And Connor, and we've talked about this recently. We did get that scene in engineering where Trip and Malcolm are saying goodbye to each other.
Yeah, you in the previous episode you talked about it was standing next to the warp core or something. And you were talking.
It's a very moving scene. It's one of the best scenes we did, and it has so much realism.
It's really life imitating art. It was a real moment of two people having had an experience, and two friends having had an experience, and two characters having had an experience, knowing that something else is going to happen.
Yeah. Real quick, did you ever consult or ask for advice for any of the cast members of the preceding Star Trek show, Voyager?
Oh God, no.
No. God forbid.
How to stay away from craft service.
Yeah.
I will say this. I will say when I was cast, I was already cast in the show, and the LA Times had done a piece on them for their calendar section, their entertainment section. And I remember reading this article, Beltran is barking for his omelet. Kate is waiting for everyone to show up. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, these folks are done.
Really, I mean, after so long, it just,
what they had the advantage, and so many of the other iterations of the franchise have, you get to build up to, this is your 7th season, you're done, you're winding down.
Yeah.
We had 5 weeks to realize that, we were done. And so I can understand, at the end of it all, people are, I think one of the characters was just like, I'm putting on my coat and I'm leaving. They had completed that stage of that experience as actors, and ours was different.
It was sad.
It was sad.
It was emotional. That last day was seriously, emotional.
Yeah. Came up,
and frankly, you could see it in the Discovery cast in their final scene last night. The those scenes they shot on the bridge, you could tell they didn't do. They did 50 episodes. I mean, maybe 62. I think I looked at. They did more than I thought they'd done. But you could tell that there was that was a very, very tight and close cast and crew, and you could tell it was a happy experience for them.
And they had a quick goodbye too, because they had to go back for reshoots once.
They did. They had that, and God bless, they had they were given that chance to do that. We did not. I mean, ours got wrapped up, and then of course Rick and Brannon were also wrapping up 17 years of the tenure, which led to the debacle of the final episode of ours, which I think anyone would take back now. And they thought
the episode before that was your real finale. Very good episode for sure.
Terranova ones.
Yeah. But alas, life goes on.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. 20 years later. Almost 20 years. 2005.
It's more. It's going to be 25 next year since we started. So it's 20 years. 20 years.
Yikes! Wow.
I know.
That's wild.
I'm Dominic.
Exactly. So I don't know if Connor, you didn't watch Discovery, did you? And it's okay to say no, like you doing.
Oh no.
You did.
He's been watching.
Oh, okay, great. So Enterprise is actually referenced quite a bit, like stuff from Enterprise. And
that pissed me off, I gotta say.
Oh, it does.
Well, only the last bit that so whatever his name is, the Admiral turns out to be fucking Daniels.
Kovich turns out to be Daniels.
I mean, really? That was a slap in the face.
It's a pretty hardcore. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, he was a lovely guy, that actor who came on and played the timeline guy. I forget his name now.
Yeah,
he was a sweetheart and a very good actor.
Sure.
But I mean, if I'm going to be honest, it kind of used to piss me off that they bring him back 2 or 3 times a season for really good episodes.
Yeah.
And I'd get the yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir lines.
Sure.
All right. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I was surfing.
It's a week off, and that's all.
But there was resentment there. I got to.
Interesting.
I wasn't the least of. I wasn't as resentful as some. They underused us. I think, and Christ knows, I've watched Enterprise now twice, and if I can understand that temporal timeline storyline, I still haven't got a clue what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, it gets pretty in the weeds.
So the fact that they referenced Daniels at the end of Discovery was like, whatever.
Okay, all right. Well,
there you go. I'm being honest.
Hey, no, I like it. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I'd have rather had the baseball.
Oh yeah.
Yes, mine.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the baseball was there in his office.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I'd rather had, I don't know, Porthos, frankly.
Yeah, bring the Beagle back, sure.
No disrespect to and I can't remember, he's a lovely guy, the guy that played
David Cronenberg.
Well done.
Who plays he was
terrific.
Kovich.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes here before Zoom kicks us off. So, Connor, who are you starstruck by?
General?
Who are you starstruck by? Actor, anyone? Who would you be like, really giddy to talk with?
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't happen to me often. I've always thought of myself as someone who, if I got on the set, I didn't care. We're just hopefully just doing work.
Sure.
But I will say that early on in my career, I'd flown to Italy to do a commercial, and John Tortura was on the plane. And this is one of 2 times in my life when I've been starstruck. And I walked up to him, and I just said, "Hey, man, I just want to say I love your work, and I'm a big fan." And he was very kind. And then the second time, my son must have been about 5 years old, and I was taking an elevator to my agent's office, and it was just me and John Goodman. And he can be kind of dour and all that. And he's sitting there and he's looking at the ground. And I said to John, I just want to tell you that my son thinks you're the greatest thing on earth with your work as in Monsters, Inc.
Oh, of course.
And it opened him up and all that. In terms of the great actors, who would I be starstruck by? Meryl Streep.
Okay. Interesting. Good choice. Me too. Okay, so Zoom, less than a minute left. So I don't want to get cut off automatically. Thank you both, Dominic and Connor, for helping us out here and talking to us. We appreciate it. Best of luck with Decon and look forward to seeing all the episodes you produce in the future.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks for your support.